Shift is now live.
Welcome, 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 everyone.
Yeah, welcome to this week's Thursday Night Shift. We were just saying, for those that are now watching, maybe the recording later, we're all a little hungover. So trying to get up and hungover by not drinking, but by the fact that we just did our holiday launch last night. And so everybody's a little bit tired. So we're hoping to boost that energy a little bit. We typically start out with a fun question. And so if you have questions that are like kind of just like more of a quick, brief question that you'd like us to answer in the future, you can drop those in the chat and we have a running list of those types of questions. We didn't talk about this, so anybody of our leaders that pop on that typically answer the questions are going to be shocked. But this one was the quickest one of what's been asked before. So we'll start with this night, and it was, what was the location of your first reunion you attended and how many years in business were you? We know that leaders are born at events. Events are important, and hopefully we can get back to some of those live events really, really soon. But Jill or Jody, why don't you start us out with answer?
I'll go. My first one was Shine in 09. There was only like 2,200 consultants there, which just blows my mind. And I had been a consultant since, so about a year, just a little over a year. It was great. It was obviously, I think our first one's always our favorite one, but it definitely was my favorite reunion and the one I remember the most about. So loved it.
Mine was, and bear with me as I'm muting people and stuff. You guys will remember, I can't remember what the theme was, but it was Denver in 2010. And here's the funny thing. Like, I still was kind of playing office when I joined. So I don't know what made me decide to go to that reunion, because I remember telling myself, I'm never going to one of those. It's going to be like all these mean girls all clicky together and you're not going to know anybody. And me and my ex went, and from the minute I walked in, it just felt like home and family, and it was amazing. And I was blown away. And a funny story, I was a superstar consultant. So it was only my first 7 months, I think. And Jen Audette is my sponsor, as you guys know. And I remember being in the group, we all sat together. I met her, and then she grabbed my hand and said, come on. I'm going to introduce you to Colette Gunnell, like the founders of Sensi. And we ran up, and Nicole Furlan was sitting there, and Colette, and my mouth dropped and I almost passed out because I was like, what are you doing? But it was such a great memory because Colette's amazing, but it was ingrained in my head. I mean, that minute that I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be, because as nervous as I was, it was just, they welcomed me with open arms, and I loved every minute of it.
I have to backtrack for 1 second, because in Shine in 09, like, this sounds silly, but I made director within like 4 weeks. I had no idea how to be in direct sales, let alone be a director, right? I had no idea what I was doing. I don't know how I ended up at convention. I don't know how I ended up there. I just did. And it was me, Karen Fettis, and one of our other directors. And everyone kept talking about this superstar director stuff. And we're like, what's a superstar director? Who's ours?
Right.
We walked around like lost puppies, and come to find out our superstar director was Heidi. Hence why we didn't know that, because they don't like put that on your workstation. So we're like, what the hell is a superstar?
Yeah, it was so weird.
So if you're ever afraid of like going to a event, like Jill said, she was afraid. Not, mean girls or cliques or whatever. First of all, I hate that word clique. You vibe with who you vibe with, right? It's not a clique. It's just the people that you're friends with. But you can hear from just the two stories we've shared with you now, we were equally as terrified and had no idea what we were doing, but we did it anyway. And so glad that, I did. And I'm sure you are too, Jill, because it's been just a life.
I just could never fathom meeting like the founders of the company. Right. And Jen like ran me up, and Nicole was sitting there, and she's like, do you know how awesome it is that you're a superstar consultant? I was like, no, I don't even know what that is, where I am, who you are, what's happening right now. But The fact that Colette was the founder, I literally almost had a panic attack and passed out right there. I was like, Jen, what are you doing? But it totally made a difference in my business, because I thought to myself, if this company is that connected where you can walk in a building, meet your team, and meet the founder within seconds, I was like, yeah, this is for me.
Yeah.
Definitely. I see that Melissa and JP, you popped on. I dropped the question in our chat.
Yeah, I'm ready whenever.
Go ahead, JP.
Okay, so I actually went to my first incentive trip before I went to my first SFR. Actually, 2000. I joined in the end of 2006, and I went on my first incentive trip in 2009. My first convention, because that's what it was called, and boot camp, all in 2009. So 2009 was like major pivotal things happened. My husband always jokes and says that I came back from SFR and it was like I said, it was convention then, and was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to make this. And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I like all of this, because he just saw the positive energy, because he didn't go with me. I literally was just like, I'm here. I know like one person, and okay, awesome. And I had the star earrings and all of the Cincy spirit. And I just know that I came home and I was like, and this is, and we're going to go to freaking Hawaii. And he was like, okay, sure, babe. He had no idea what I was talking about, because the first few years we didn't, I don't want to say we didn't see it, but we were a little hesitant to spend money to go to events. And now, I mean, I'm so grateful that I finally got on that vision out of my head of not going to something, because it changed my life to go to it. And we always say, man, why didn't we go to that first one? Why didn't we go to that second one? Why did it wait so long? But timing is everything, and that's what worked best for us. And it is truly, you will never forget your first convention, SFR. You will never forget it. I promise you.
Yeah, that part's true. You will never forget your first. I did not go to, I joined Cincy in 2008. I did not go to convention in 2008. I still hadn't captured the vision with my business. And so I was like, I'm not spending my own personal money to go to a convention for a candle company I don't plan to stay with. So there's that. And then, but what had happened is, so convention was in June or July of that year. And in August of that year, I promoted to director. So I missed convention, and the following month I hit director. Then all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay. And then making director made me qualify for leadership, which would have been in January of 2009. And that was my first Cincy event. And after that, I have not missed, well, there's only been a very few events that I have missed over time. And it's basically been because of schedule conflicts. Because these are my people. These are my friends. Like Jody said, there's not cliques. It truly is who you vibe with. You find people that you jive and vibe, Jamie Filcher, and you find those people, and those are your people. And you work alongside people with a like mind. And that is truly one of the keys to success in this business. And so, yeah, I think that answers the question.
So I think, and I don't think Jen made it on the last one. I'll be quick. My first convention, I actually wasn't a consultant. And so it was here in Salt Lake City, Utah. It was Shine in 09. And I had not yet joined alongside my mom yet, Becca Levi. And so I went with her because it was local and she had gotten an award, and I said, okay, I'll go with you. It was down the street. So I went, and I loved, it was as an outsider in the moment, it was very odd to see all of these things happening and kind of be like, oh, is this really, okay, this is a little weird or whatever. But it was that fun and that excitement and that energy that just was incredible. And then of course I loved Denver, was my first full convention, and that was Intensity. And like they say, your first one is always the best. But why I really love that question is because we have to make that investment in ourselves, and we're going to have that opportunity. So I really, as we get towards that time, and hopefully in 2021, these events start to open up. If you are a director and above, there is leadership that you can register for right now in Cabo. Events are huge. Leaders are born at events, and that connection and being around one another and getting to just pick each other's minds, I think is the best thing that you can get from those Cincy events. So yeah, that is our question today. So let's dive into our topic for tonight. And we wanted to touch on doubling up or taking where you're at and taking it to the next level, and some tips to make that happen. We just came off our biggest month ever in Scentsy history, which is incredible. So what are we going to do to continue to have that momentum and move forward in our businesses so that we don't have that dip that sometimes can happen? And we're still on this big wave. We're still in a hyper growth stage. And so we want to take as much advantage of that as we can as we all continue to grow our businesses. So ladies, what are some of your tips for doubling up your business and taking it to the next level?
I'll dive in real right off the bat and say one of the easiest things that you can do to double yourself, and my girls know this because they hear it time and time and time again, is what's your goal for the month? So if it's 2,000 and that's doubling for you, take your PRV from last month. Let's start there. Take your PRV from last month, double it, because you're going to do double it this month. So let's say it's 2,000. And you're going to take that 2,000, you're going to divide it by how many days there are in the month. We'll say 30 because today's the first day. You need $66 a day in sales. Seems way more achievable than saying I need to hit 2,000 this month. So you make a column with 30 rows and you put $66 in each row. And every time you get $66, or if you get a $30 order, you only need $36 to go. You cross off the 66 and next to it you write 30 and you keep whittling away at those numbers. 2,000 is the magic number. You know why? Because you get a bonus. You get a 5% commission bonus at 2,000. I cannot tell you, last night, if I said it once, I said it 15 times last night to consultants in my group that had over $1,900 in sales in the system and were calling it quits for the evening. First of all, I'm like, I need to remind you that we don't call it quits around here, because from now on, I'm always going to remind people that Tammy Frazier needed $16,000 in PRV yesterday to hit Superstar Director, and her team did it. And they hit Superstar Director, and she's on and she's nodding and smiling, and she'll probably start crying too, because literally it was an all hands on deck. So really, she just kind of excuse busted every one of us, because anytime you think I can't get $150 in sales, just remember that Tammy got 16,000 PRV in one day. So, but it, I can't tell you how many times last night I sent messages and said, you're at 1906. You need 94 more dollars in PRV. And you realize it's free money, because your commission check at $1,900 is $476 and your commission check at $2,000 is $600. So you need 94. You're going to make 120. You cannot leave that money on the table. That is a no. You are shooting for 2,000 every single month. And when you shoot for 2,000, that's $66 a day. Or give or take, if it's February, you got to bust your butt a little harder, because you're about 3 to 4 days short. But on a 31-day month or 30-day month, it's $66 a day. You can do it. And when you break it up like that, and you just need to sell 2 6-packs a day, makes that 2,000 pretty achievable. I'll take a $600 check at the end of the month for selling 2,000. How about you? So double up by breaking it down. Remember that. Double up by breaking it down. I'll shut up.
She says, I'll shut up. So I have no great tips like that. I mean, I use that tip, but after following, I don't think it's fair for any of us to follow Melissa, really, because she's like drops the mic and you're like, oh, I guess I'll go with my insignificant tip. But I know that some of what we're saying to you guys is really repetitive, and hopefully at some point it sinks in. But I'm going to go with the Facebook party again. And I'm going to say this because I still have so many of my team that I'm finding out are not doing Facebook parties because they still are afraid, or they don't know what to do, or they don't know what to post, or they think they're posting too much. They think they're too, whatever the excuse is. And that's what it comes down to. And I know that sounds harsh and I don't mean it to, but it is what it is, you guys. Facebook parties have changed the trajectory of all of the businesses I know that are doing them. Our businesses look completely different. I have girls who have sold $6, $7, $8, $10, $11,000 in a month from Facebook parties. Now, I'm not saying that all of the sales we'll talk about September came from Facebook parties in September. Some of those sales came from the Facebook parties that they had in August, and those customers reordered on top of the Facebook parties that they're currently doing in September. So it all compounds, and it basically it doubles everything. So if you're not doing those Facebook parties, I know Chrissy is on here. I don't know what she did because I'm not in her upline, but I know she kills Facebook parties. And Chrissy, what did you do this past month in Facebook parties? Do you know?
A lot.
I did 8,022.
Right. So
Double that.
Yeah, so that's what we're joking about, her doubling.
double.
Come on, Chrissy, you got that 16,000 right there. Tammy will show you how to do it.
Okay, 518 a day. Somebody teach me your ways.
One
No, but
Facebook
tell
party-
us it's working for you. What do you think it is?
The original post that I used asking people who I can spoil with Scentsy, and I got 11 bookings from that. And then the bookings from those bookings and recruits, I mean, I would have had 11,000 if I didn't flip some of my hostesses from those Facebook events. So I'd rather flip than get the PRV. But I think just consistent connection with people and increasing my algorithms on Facebook so that people constantly see what I'm posting and see what I'm doing. And not only posting about Scentsy, but posting about random questions and things like that to increase engagement.
So let me ask you this. When you first started doing the Facebook parties, did you know everything? Did you have it all 100% figured out?
I honestly sucked at Facebook parties until COVID happened. And then I just started watching you guys and listening
So you
to
made
everything.
changes, right?
Yeah.
You
yeah.
just started doing them. You didn't have to know everything. You didn't have to be perfect. You were probably slightly terrified like most of us are. But I guess what I'm getting at is you did it. And as you go, you learn more, you perfect more, you make the changes, you adjust your sales, and you sold $11,000. Whether you flipped them or not, you sold over $11,000 in retail last month.
Yeah.
Why aren't we doing them? Like, I look at that and I look at what other people are doing on Facebook parties, and I'm like, including myself, I had my highest PRV month this September in 12 years from Facebook parties. I was blown away. I doubled my goal, which just kind of happened. I was like, well, they're just coming in. I guess I'll just keep doing more Facebook parties. So that's my big tip. Stop letting fear and excuses trap you in your business when you say in the negative self-talk, I can't do it. I don't know what to say. I'm too afraid. I don't want to ask anybody. All of those things, any type of negative thought or self-talk to yourself is keeping you trapped where you are. And I don't know Tammy, but I know if she probably had said that to herself yesterday and her team, they wouldn't have hit that goal. That's a lofty goal to hit. You have to have belief, and you have to have the gumption and the determination to go out and make that happen. So if you want things to change in your business, you honestly just need to switch it and make it and go make it happen for yourself. And don't be afraid of failure, because every time you think you're failing, you're actually learning. And that's where you grow. And that's my tip. Mic drop. Boom.
Well, I'm just going to piggyback off of Jody just a little bit, because obviously I think I can say amen to everything that everybody else has said, because I was not a Facebook partier. Nope. Every one of them was a flip-flop and a half. Okay. It was not anything cute to anything that I wanted anybody really to duplicate until COVID happened and something changed. Right. And I don't know if last month was my highest PRV, but I was shocked at every time I saw a PWS order. I was shocked. I ended up with 5,800 PRV. All from Facebook parties, all from these Facebook parties. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'd rather be doing those Facebook parties, sending out those sample packs, than going up and sweating my hiney off for an event for 3 days where I don't really get to make any kind of, now I'm not knocking events, they're great, but I would rather personally be at home in the AC, because I'm in Texas and it's still hot at events. So this is much easier, much more fun. And I'm telling you what else, I'm getting to know my customers so much better this way. I'm collecting really important information. And what Chrissy said, I'm actually getting bookings off of each one. Like it's, I know we keep talking about it. It's like Jody said, we just keep talking about it, but it's changed. It's really changed how our business looks. On top of what has already been said. I'll also say kind of those things that we all hear a lot are make sure you upsell. Don't let somebody just buy 2 bars. Don't let them just buy 1 bulb. Don't be okay with that. Make sure that you're offering that buy 5, get 1 free. And what that looks like. And I had a girl one time say, well, I need this warmer and this and this. And I said, look, you're already like almost to a party. How about we set you up, let you have some friends? Sometimes it's just upselling the party, whatever you want to call it, social, whatever. Don't let them just buy. See if they'll want to, keep that order, and let's hold off and see if we can get it for you for free. So sometimes it's upselling that party opportunity or the join opportunity. Yeah, and I was going to say something else and I already forgot what it was, but.
I would just say on upselling, so I don't think she's made it on yet, so I'm going to steal this from her, but she shared this, if you were watching our Thursday Night Shift a couple weeks back, and it was when Heather did her Facebook party, she had flat out said, and if you decide to go get a counter cleaner, whatever it was, if you missed her wording, she basically was like, and nobody buys just 1. You buy the 3-pack because you need 1 for you need at least 1 for your gift, right? So always focusing on those bundles, and as JP just said, adding to that value. You're not just getting 2 bars. We've got to get at least 3 because you save $1, or you got to get at least 5 because then you get 1 free, and always talking about those different opportunities to upsell. Another thing is always asking for light bulbs. Melissa has had Heather come and do shows with her before, and that's the thing. She's always like, and you need light bulbs. Or what if it was, do you need a colored light bulb? For $2, you can change the complete different look of your warmer. What's your favorite color, right? These are the colors that we have. So those little tiny things. Do you need a pack of cotton cleanups? That's the quickest and easy way to clean your warmers. So cotton cleanups, you get 25 of them for $6? So that is another great upsell that you earn PRV on. Another one that I'm loving is make sure you add a bar of black raspberry vanilla to your order. One of your fragrances you don't know what to get, because if you didn't know, black raspberry vanilla is like the magical wax. If you have that horrible yucky gunk in your warmer, many consultants I have one upstairs I need to clean that I just put black raspberry vanilla in, but it cleans some way that gunk out. So that happens, your dust settles in your wax, that settles into your warmer. It makes that ooey gooey mess. Black raspberry vanilla is one of the easiest ways to clean that out, right? So these little tiny things, if you just can think outside the box a little bit, right? It allows us to upsell our customers and share other products. Dawn, I didn't know that. Yeah. So, and then I have one more thing does anybody have anything on upsell before I move to another thing that I've been working on for a while that could be of help this season? Girls? No? Okay. So I was talking with, and she's here. Congratulations, Candace, on your promotion last night to Superstar Consultant. But Candace and I were talking a few weeks ago, and this has been on my plate to get done, and I've started it. So as I've been here multitasking, I'm working on this. And it was basically taking our combine and saves and creating a party for Christmas bundles. So as if you didn't know, it was news to me because I don't know, I'm oblivious to the world sometimes, but we can get the 3 packs of fragrance flowers. So we created a party for Christmas. Hi, Miss Marin, I love you. And so basically you would get 9 fragrance flowers, you would get 6 room sprays, and then you would get, what was it? I'm looking here. 1, 2, it was 6 mini warmers and 18 bars. And when you put that in, I'll post the breakdown. I'll share it with your leaders. I'll share the little flyer that I'm working on, because now that I've spoken into existence, I have to follow through. But basically that came to, with my tax at 7.2%, $303.15. Now your customers, your guests, whatever, they can take that. It's their party. It's used the host rewards to get the best bang for their buck. And they can decide, I'm going to give a fragrance flower, a room spray, 3 bars, and a mini warmer. And that is a big gift for somebody. Or I'm going to take it and I'm going to give a friend, I'm going to give 6 friends a warmer with 3 bars. There's 6 gifts right there. Then I'm going to give, 6 other friends a fragrance flower and a room spray, and then I still have 3 fragrance flowers left over to give as other gifts. So this allows your customers to have these gifting options throughout the season, whether it's for family, for coworkers, for teachers, for friends, for neighbors, all of those things. within a party, getting those rewards and getting those discounts. So again, I will get the breakdown exactly how I entered those bundles into the party to get the best bang, because we did play around and move them multiple times, but that is another way to boost your sales with gift giving this season.
Those are awesome. I just want to bounce back to, like, I sit here and smile, you guys, because I'm thinking once upon a, like, online is all I've done. I can count on one hand how many home parties I've done. And I remember thinking, like, God, you have to carry these bags to these houses and then set up and then wait there and then pack everything back and then go home and then unpack. Like, it was crazy to me. But the Scentsy world was still in home party mentality, but so were the customers. So as yucky as quarantine is, it has shifted, no pun intended, everyone's mindset. So everyone's like, Facebook party. I mean, people are doing 8, 10, 12, 16,000 in PRV. And I just smile because I knew it was easier all along. But at the time I was doing it, I was still fighting against convincing the customers that it was easier and how to do it and get in here. And Facebook is easiest, even right now, trying to get customers to do a Zoom party, right? Because a lot of people are like, now they're better. But at first it was like, what link? How do I get on? How do I turn the audio? There's a learning curve. But so that just makes me happy. And I think with Facebook parties, however you want to do them, bingo, Family Feud, getting on there, showing your house. For me at Christmas time, once I decorate, I do a house tour. They love seeing how I decorate and what I'm doing, and they love see how I'm setting stuff up. So however you want to do them, you just have to dive in and be willing to make mistakes, be willing to forget stuff, be willing to know that stuff's going to fall off a shelf and you're going to fumble and you're going to do all the things. But a big thing, you guys, that I think helps sales go up and double, if you listen to people, a big part of this is about personality and being excited and not worrying about what you're selling, but just being like, oh, I would use this. And oh, you could use a fragrance flower for this. And it not being about trying to get the sale, but more that you're suggesting things for your friend. When I listen to Chrissy and when I listen to Callie and Melissa, and I'm sure a bunch of you, Jody, you see that it's not like, oh, would you like a 3-pack of flowers? It's, hey, you know what? You can do a 3-pack and you can do this with this and you can do that with this and you can do this with this. And we're just throwing suggestions at them because something's going to stick. You know, it's people will go, I want a warmer in 1 bar. Because remember, they're not in our Scentsy bubble. For us, it's like, well, why would you get 1 bar when you can get 3? Well, they don't know that. So it's your job to be their Scentsy friend and go, hey, get 3. Or I always say buy 5, get 1 free. Yeah, I don't think I've ever suggested the 3-pack. I always say buy 5, get 1 free. And so they always add 5 more bars on, always, because people love buy 5, get 1 free. But it's about being excited, thinking in yourself, dropping the sale part and thinking in your head, I'm going to make their house smell amazing. And people are going to walk in. I just got a text from someone going, I suggested almond croissant. She's like, oh my God, it's my new favorite. I'm getting on there and ordering more. It's about being excited about the products, and I'm letting people in, so I'm sorry if I'm distracted. It's about just being excited and throwing ideas at them and just, you know, saying you could try this for the bedroom and this for the bathroom. And what about a diffuser? And what about your kids' room? Even after 10, 11, 12 years, I don't think that I ever see any of these ladies and some of you that I know not being excited. And I think that plays a big part in when you guys are getting sales and not getting caught up in what you do or don't know, not telling yourself, oh, I don't dare to suggest that because I know nothing about diffusers. Or that's why it's really important to kind of know a little bit about everything, but you don't have to know everything. You just have to be excited about, like, hey, I don't have a diffuser yet, but let me ask some questions and figure out how long it stays on and figure out what lights it turns on. Just stay excited, because people are choosing you before they even choose Scentsy. That's truly what it's all about, is people are choosing your energy and your excitement. That's what people will gravitate towards. So when you're in your Facebook parties, don't worry about messing up. Just have fun and just say, like, hey, even showing you that I'm messing up tells you that anyone can do this. So I think that really helps with doubling up.
Right on back of what Jill's saying, 2 of the Facebook parties that I just did, the hostesses, I told them what they earned, and they both said, can you just pick out my stuff for me? I trust you. Well, you think that's fun until you realize how many options it is. And then I'm like, but they could do this and they could do this and they could do this. And what was fun is, though, I was able to like look through the pictures of their homes that they've shared, or or whatever, you know, or just know what scents that they've liked in the past. And they're so excited because now that it's even a double surprise, because I like to throw in maybe a product they didn't even have on their wish list, like a fragrance flower or a wall fan diffuser, because they're not sure about it yet. And so it's fun to be able to do that. It's like that friend, that trust that Jill was just talking about. I am so flattered when people say, you know what I like, just pick me out a 6-pack. You know what I like. I love that, but it also paralyzes me a little bit. I'm like, but there's so many options. I can't narrow it down. But I think it's so fun. And I can't tell how many times I've texted a customer and been like, oh, don't forget that this is, you know, I think you should try this scent or that scent. And they're like, how do you remember, Jamie? How do you remember what I like? You know, and that really makes me feel extremely happy, like that they know that, because I always say, well, this is my happy place. I really enjoy filling your spaces and that you get excited about it. I was like, it's just probably smell goods to you, but it really does bring me joy to be able to help them make their spaces smell good, and that they get so excited. So that they trust me with that is, to me, like the utmost confidence. Like, compliment, it gives me all the feels. So that's not really a tip other than just piggybacking off of what Jill said about becoming friends and knowing what they're doing.
Can I throw this in there? And I don't know, it may or may not apply at all, but for a really long time in my years with Scentsy, I was really stingy with samples and catalogs and marketing. And I would try to qualify if I thought a customer was worth a catalog versus a showcase brochure versus do I give them, and I'm finally got to the point, you guys, it took me probably 9 of my 12 years. I was stingy for like 9 of my 12 years. And then I finally woke up one day and was like, you are not, it's like, you can't win the lotto if you don't buy the ticket. You're not going to hook somebody if you're stingy. And what do I want with outdated catalogs? They are doing me no good. And so now my most favorite thing, I have seen the biggest return on my investment on these silly counter clean samples I've made. 1 ounce counter clean. And my biggest return on investment in 12 years has been every customer of mine that's getting this is turning around and buying. And I'm not exaggerating when I say every customer of mine I give this to is turning around and buying counter clean that they never would have bought counter clean. And I'm like, man, in the past, I would have been stingy. I would have been like, oh, she only ordered 6, because I'm like Jill, I don't even sell the 3-pack of bars. It is 6 bars, buy 5, get 1 free. But I'm like, oh, she only bought a 6-pack. Do I really? Yes. The answer is yes. I even give counter clean to the people that are only needing light bulbs, because I needed to stop qualifying who was worth my samples and my materials. And I needed to treat every single person I had the ability to reach the same. I don't care how much they spent. I don't care how well I know them. I had to make it stop mattering. And my return on my investment has been great. Yeah, it can be pricey to put together. I mean, to put together some of the sample packs people put out, and this is not, I would call this maybe a middle of the road, because I don't have soak samples or whiff samples or any of that. I do my counter clean and some laundry samples and the scratch and sniff sheets in this cute packaging, because to me, this feels like a special touch. This feels like an extra hug. This feels like they're not an afterthought. This feels like I didn't just toss some samples in a bag with no explanation. Take a couple of minutes more to include a how-to or a how to use or a tip sheet with the samples that you're giving. Because if you blindly throw samples in a bag, those can blindly be thrown into a drawer. But if you're giving them a purpose when they take it out, you are doubling your chances of selling them on it. And so, big advice, don't be stingy, because at the end of the day, we don't want our marketing materials left over. We don't want outdated samples. We don't want outdated catalogs. Don't be stingy. Jamie, you're nodding like you You're like all the things. Yes. Vibing all the things.
Hey, Melissa, I want to just add this really quick because it's so true. I did the exact same thing in my business too. I was so stingy. I would make these samples and I'd leave them so pretty on my counters and my cabinets. And I'm like, oh, am I going to hand one of these out? Maybe not. But I never hand out samples. I would always hand them out previously and not get follow-up information. And it's basically me just throwing money away. So be smart and go the extra mile. Don't hand samples out by not getting information from them to follow up. Like, that's maximizing your opportunity. So you want to be able to follow up and say, hey, Karen, how did you love that counter clean sample? Do you love it as much as I do? If you're just giving samples out and not getting information to follow up, you literally are throwing money down the tube.
And when you're following up with them, it gives you the opportunity to give them another use for the product. So initially, people are going to use counter clean on their counters because it's called counter clean. But when you follow up with them, you can say, and you know what? I just cleaned my son's playground shoes, the white part of his playground shoes, with the counter clean, and I cannot even believe how it's made. You know, so you have the ability to give them another purpose for their for the sample that you've given. But additionally, the biggest thing is tracking these samples. A lot of times consultants will say, okay, so I have people that have bought from me, but I don't know where to go next. I don't know what to do. But you can have a very busy month with orders coming in and getting your customers their orders and following up with them because you have put extra touches in their bags. That is, that's how you keep your business momentum going.
I will say that, oh, who did I interrupt? Jody, I'm sorry. I will say this too. When I had a lower month, either maybe, I mean, I bet I'm always over 2,000, but when it's lower for me, I can honestly say, and I tell my team this all the time, be honest with yourself. Like, I didn't do follow-up to the level that I should have, because I'm telling you, if you're handing out samples and following up, sending out orders and following up, sending out happy mail and following up, you see a Scentsy Club order come in and following up, you will get order after order after, and like Heather always says, you want to, your biggest goal is to try to flip those orders into parties. You can't sustain a business on individual orders, you know, so you need to get comfortable when you get orders and you're following up to say, hey girl, let's have a Scentsy social. You have a long list. Let's get you some free stuff. That casual, that easy. It may be a no, not right now. Okay, I'll follow up with you in a month. It's going to get crazy. I know you're going to need some Christmas stuff. I'll talk to you in a month. Easy breezy, move on to the next person. But if you're honest with yourself, if you're not getting orders or bookings, it's because you're not doing proper follow-up with this product completely. That is, I mean, yes, I use Amy, but I also use a binder because I like to write things down. It sticks in my brain better. But when I'm on the go, I'm always in Amy following up, just clicking on stuff and going. Sorry, Jody.
So just to kind of touch on that, it's might be redundant, but let's go back to those Facebook parties we were talking about. And if you're using these forms or any form that you've created through Google, they really do come in handy to kind of know what they like. My form asks, is there a product that you'd like to try that you haven't yet? So if you have that available to, you know, like let's say it's a pet supply or a pet sample, you can stick that in their bag. It also asks like what their favorite category is. So maybe you go a little heavy on bakery and a little lighter on the manly if they don't like that. But it's also it's handy to follow up with them after the fact. So after my Facebook party packs go out, I want to know, what did they think? What did you like it? Was it okay? Did you use the products? One of the things that I send always is soap. I want to know, what did you think of it? Because if people aren't liking them, I'm not going to keep sending it, but I haven't gotten any of that yet. But it's this is another way to keep track of those things. And like Jill said, a lot of us still like the paper. Like, I still use Amy, but I like paper too. I like to be able to physically hold it and see it. And so this for me helps me follow up with what they've got and what they like, and also what I can give them going forward if they're invited to another Facebook party.
And I just want to throw this out there too. If you are hesitant about using Amy, number one, do it. I'm going to tell you, do that. But number two, use those door price slips. Every time before Amy was around, I would take door price slips from the family and I would say, oh my gosh, here's the sample pack. Fill out this door price drawing and I'll enter you into my monthly drawing. And my monthly drawing could have been for a washer with sample. It could have been for anything. So just collect the information any way you can do it without being awkward. If you're not doing the Google Doc or the on paper or Amy, whatever you use, just find a system that works for you and use it.
Anybody else have anything they want to add to PRV tips, follow up, anything that goes along that line to, because all of this ties together. I know our topic was, PRV and doubling up, but literally everything kind of just ties together and it starts to flow as one little Scentsy river, if you must.
I think too is taking advantage of, and they've told us, right, we're going to have a lot of stuff dripping out this month and next. So it's, again, going back to personality and remembering you're their Scentsy friend. So instead of like whatever it is, let's say they launch, I'll just say holiday bricks because that's been known to pop up. You're not just going to say, hey, Scentsy just launched holiday bricks. Let me know if you want any. Today I posted a picture of my past Scentsy bricks and I said, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I just got out my holiday and fall bricks. I'm hoping and crossing my fingers that they launch new ones. I'm so excited. I never asked for a sale. Your VIP group is where you're just one of your people. And what you want to do is just stay excited, because what will happen, and I know it's counterintuitive, you're thinking, but if I don't ask them to buy, they won't. Yes, they will, because they don't want to be sold to, but they want to do what you're doing. And that's true because they said they want to be in your VIP group, right? You didn't just drop them in there. You said, hey girl, I have a VIP group. I'm going to give you sneak peeks, let you know when stuff's coming out. You're going to get catalogs first, all the things. They've said, yes, I'd love to be in there. So you're their Scentsy friend. Forget that you want the sale and just, sounds weird, but like make all of Scentsy cool. It's cool to buy bricks. It's cool to get that camper warmer. It's cool to be up at 3 a.m. and getting all your Scentsy stuff before anybody else. Because when you stay excited and when you're just one of their buddies and they've agreed to be in there, they're going to mirror what you do. It happens every single time. I never say, hey, we're launching the lantern warmer. Does anyone want to buy one? I say, oh my God, I love this one so much. I'm going to buy an extra one because they'll look so cute next to each other. So it works when you're suggesting things and being excited rather than selling them stuff.
And I want to throw this out there too. I don't know if y'all covered it or not. I'm sorry I got on late tonight, but I want to point this out too. No matter what you're trying to do in your business, if you are trying to promote to the next level, if you are trying to build a team, if you want a income, a career out of this, and truly making a difference in your family's of income and your budget, whatever you're trying to do, you need to stop, take a hard look at yourself and ask yourself, am I truly investing in what I need to be doing to be getting to where I need to be? A lot of times the ideas in our heads are one thing, but your efforts do not match your whole feeling and idea about this. So here's what I really want to stress to you is that you've got to plug in. You've got to plug in when the opportunities are in front of you. A lot of times people rely on asking questions at their convenience and their schedule. And you have to understand, when you start building a team, it's very hard for leaders to answer questions on the spot for individuals. But when you have opportunities like your workstation, Scentsy Tuesday trainings, team calls, Thursday night shifts, you've got to prioritize your schedule to make it a priority to become better in this business. The minute you pull away and you're not plugged into learning more, being a better businesswoman or man, you've got to 100% decide how bad do you want this, and you're going to have to make a little bit of sacrifice to get where you need to be. I don't think I've ever met a leader that has not sacrificed some time or family time or I'm not saying give things up, but I'm going to say you're going to have to become very good at prioritizing and doing income producing activities versus busy activities. So if you are trying to promote and get to the next level, you've got to be recruiting, period. Don't worry about sales. Don't focus on individual orders. Individual orders is not going to get you where you need to be. So maximize every single opportunity that comes your way.
Does anybody else have anything they want to add? Or are we all just kind of on that first day hangover?
We're on that first day hangover for sure. I know that I just have to second every single person, or everybody that's spoken, all of my girls, obviously, I always second them, but what we're going to do, I think we've decided it's next week. Next week is going to be is that the mindset shift to mindset to success? Yes, nods. That we decided. So that will be next week's topic. But what that has to do with is, if you don't believe that you can get the sales, if you don't believe that people will upsell, if you don't know that this is a product that somebody else is interested in or that wants, or it's going to bless their lives, or it's going to make a difference for them, or it's going to help do something for them, then it won't be. What you think about, you bring about, right?
Yeah.
So if that's what you continue to think, if you don't have that mindset, then you're probably going to stay stuck. I know for me, I mean, we've had large months where we've had shows and inventory and things like that, but strictly from parties and being home and working with my customers, last month was our biggest PRV month personally. I've always been honest and transparent with my team. We're a 500 to 1,000 typically business. When I had to shift my mindset to being a minimum of 1,000, the mind shifted, and it just happened. When I knew I needed to be at 2,000 a month for certain goals, I made that mind shift, and it happened. And I wish I could tell you, yes, there's other things that I did. I can't just say I changed my mindset and magically those orders appeared. But as Jamie was saying a little while ago, she's like, every time I kept opening my workstation last month and there was another order and there was another order and there was another order, I was in the same boat. But it goes because we're consistently planting those seeds, following up, doing all these little things that everybody's mentioned tonight. And as you do that, it's near impossible to not be successful. If you're open for business, if you're sharing, if you're upselling, you're just using these little tips, PRV will never be a problem.
I can't wait for next week's call.
Me neither. And
I get so inspired by when we're all together and we share different tips. Like, you know, I know we've all been doing this a long time and we know the basics, we know all the things, but hearing someone say something just in a different way, it can change things for you, the way you look at a situation. So I love our Thursday night shifts.
And I know there's tons of leaders on here, tons of directors and above, if anyone wants to jump in on this, but for those of you that haven't reached that level yet, okay. Jenna Odette said this story not too long ago. But I know there's a lot of you that put people up here. And when you're trying to reach director or you're keeping yourself at a certain level, you think, oh, I could never be them. I'm not them. That's them. They're leaders. They're directors. I'm not them. And you're at superstar consultant and you're thinking, you're stressing yourself out about team calls and going live and, you know, being on camera and doing all the things. But it is truly mindset. Like if you've gotten as far as star consultant, you are a leader. And it's just a matter of now believing that and getting to the next level and tuning into this stuff and being present and diving in, build your confidence. It builds your confidence with your customers, with your team, and you're going to learn everything. Like the cool thing about all this now is as you're learning, there's things like this that can help you. You don't have to do it all anymore. You just have to be a resource and a cheerleader for your team and passionate with your customers. Like I tell my team all the time, a leader is just bumpers on a go-kart track, right? Your job is just to keep people in there and cheer them on. You don't have to know everything. You have all of us to help you. There's resources everywhere. If you don't know something with your customers, you just keep the excitement and the positive attitude and you can find the answers. There's people that will help you. So if you're here, you're supposed to be heading to the top.
Amen. So does anybody have something they would love for us? Is there a question? Is there something that may be standing in your way where we have a few minutes before we wrap up this week's Thursday night shift?
Someone's got a question.
All right. So I'm trying to answer a question in the chat. Where'd it go? Carrie's asking, what time do we stop taking orders from customers and talking to customers in general? I think what you're asking is about, do we set business hours? So like I had already answered her saying that if it's a pre-order, I try to have my pre-orders done at least the day before. I try to be very prepared. I'm not a last minute person, but I will continue to talk to customers pretty much up until I fall asleep. I do try to set family time and have a little bit of out, especially when it comes to my team. But I don't do that so much for customers because customers are getting out of work and whatever, but Am I missing? Did I get it?
No, you're right. I mean, I took pre-orders last night until 11 p.m. and then I gave myself a couple hours to lay down. I know Heather probably still is taking orders while she's sleeping with her eyes closed. Like
Yeah.
I have watched her before just take orders, take orders, take orders. She could be in the car. She writes them down. They're on her notepad. They're on her forehead. They're like, she will take orders till the alarm dings off that. And it really gets, I mean, pre-orders for LTOs and stuff like that is completely up to you. It's your business. You set the boundaries. You know, do you want to stop at 7? You know, then you tell your people, I need your Venmo. I need your PayPal. I need everything in by 7. I'm done. I'm going to have family time and I'll be up in the morning to order for you. It's completely up to you because it's your business. If I'm up and awake and it's the night before and something launches, I'm going to take pre-orders because that's just what I do. It just depends what you want to do.
Yeah. Like I had a couple of people comment after I had gone to bed that they wanted Glimmer and Glow. So I certainly wasn't going to call them at 2:30 in the morning. So I placed those orders. Again, you do what you have to do for yourself, but I knew these customers. I knew it was a risk I was taking by paying for them, but I knew that they would pay me. So again, I wasn't up to take those orders, but I went ahead and got them in for those customers because I knew them. So you know, these questions sometimes can be difficult because it's differ for every consultant, your relationship with your customers, you know, your parameters and your guidelines that you set, you know, I need all of this by, like Jill said, 7 p.m. There's nothing wrong with saying I need it by, I do that all the time. Like, no, I need them by noon today, or, you know, you're kind of SOL. So I hope that answers your question.
Someone asked about how many samples. I get this question too all the time. And the question, like, how many samples do I put in a sample pack? What do you put in your welcome packets? What do you put in this? The first thing that I would say, guys, is don't overthink it. I mean, my answer is always whatever I have on hand. But at the first of the month, I do bulk sampling where you can order your laundry samples if you want. You can make your own. You can do your Scentsy soak. I make a list so that when I make my sample packs, it's grab and go. And then I base it on the customer. Did they place a $50 order? Did they place a $100 order? Are they a Scentsy Club person? Like, it just depends on the customer, but your best tip is to not be trying to make samples as you get orders. Pick a day. If you're a football Sunday person, you know, while you're watching football, I have a table and I'm making samples the whole time I'm watching. Bulk sample, bulk sample, bulk sample. So for the month, I'm covered. They're in bins in my closet. And when I'm putting packs together, I just grab whatever I have and I put it in there. I think new consultants and even veteran ones tend to, what should I put? Is this okay? Is that okay? Anything's okay. Even if it's a handwritten thank you note on an index card that you start with, and you build up to whatever you want to. But I can't say enough about bulk sampling, doing it all at once so that you're not chasing your tail and feeling disorganized. Trying to look at the questions.
So there was any advice for someone who is new that anyone didn't already say? I would say ask and share with everyone. Don't set any limits. And if there is somebody else that comes to you with their own preset limit of budget and things like that, that's when you flip and you offer the party, right? So let's at least get your product for free and half price. That would be the biggest thing. I would, and really focus on doing your own launch party. Having your sponsor help you with your launch party or your director help you with your launch party. Reach out to them and see if they are available, because that is going to set you up for success. Hopefully more bookings, your customer base started out, that can then flip into your VIP page so that you have those customers and contacts within your VIP page. So that would probably be my biggest tip for a new consultant.
My biggest thing for, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go.
I was just saying my biggest thing for a newer consultant is show up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're here, that means you're already showing up, because I will tell you the most that I have learned is by surrounding myself with other consultants that are showing up too. You never know what piece of information you're going to get. You never know what takeaway you're going to hear. It may, you know, I always remind people that regardless of what the topic is on a Zoom call, program yourself to get on anyway, because 9 times out of 10, your takeaway will not be anything related to the topic, because you never know where the topic's going to lead us. But showing up and surrounding yourself with people that show up, because we are all successful how do I want to word this? We're all successful because we keep showing up. Consistency, I know that is like the most cliche, overused word, but I'm going to tell you something. It is the main component of a business, whether you are new, whether you are a seasoned consultant, it doesn't matter. Having a consistent work schedule and workflow and showing up makes all the difference. You will hear the right things when you need to hear them, and you never know where that's going to be. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who you're going to cross paths with. Every one of you is one person away from your business changing. Every one of you is one person away.
That's so true. It's funny because I used to tell the story of when I first joined. Callie and Becca were in Utah. Jen was in Maine, and I had my sponsor, but I was just doing my own thing. But Callie and Becca did the Thursday call every Thursday and every Saturday. And we called in, and I would fold laundry and leave. I never missed one for 4 years. And just like I tell my team, your team and your customers will mirror what you do. If they see you even have 10, 11 years, still on call, still on training, that's what they're going to do. Like, so when you show up, you're leading from the front, you're teaching them what they need to do in their business. And as a new consultant, a lot of excuses happen because you're scared, you're nervous, are people going to judge me? Am I going to hear no? Is it me they don't like? You question all these things and you hear, no one wants to buy. I can't recruit. Posted this on my team page today. I can't recruit anyone. No one wants to have a party. I don't have a good sponsor. I don't know what to do. And it's all excuses. And my quote said, your excuses just gave someone else an opportunity. And so we've hit record-breaking numbers in sales, sponsoring, and promotion. So that means while you're making excuses, someone else is making it happen. While it might not feel comfortable if you don't change your actions to get a different result, October will be excuses once again. So it's a new month. You quit looking behind you. You do things a little bit different. You do that upsell, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable at first, because I know as you're new, you just want to fill out that order form. It's one warmer, gotta go, thank you, bye, right? Because you're just like, I don't want to mess anything up. But people are buying. There's plenty of training. It doesn't matter who your sponsor is. You have a community, you have help, you have these calls. So your success is up to you. So you need patience, consistency, and a willingness to learn every single day, and more of a willingness to get uncomfortable every single day. That would be.
I want to throw this out there too. I want you to be very careful of the words that you choose. Like, I love when Jill just said, I can get nobody to have a party. I've asked everyone to buy from me, or I've asked everyone to host. When you say things like that, your mind truly starts believing that you have literally asked everyone. But if you were to stop and ask yourself, how many people did I truly ask? It's probably not that many people. And so don't start getting that mindset. It is, okay, I'm going to keep asking until I get a yes, right? So it really is a mind shift, a focus, a mindset. And so be careful about the words that you're choosing to say. And right, that person that's still going for the same thing you're going for is going to be a step closer because they didn't stop, right? So just keep that in mind too as you are saying things. Your self-talk is very, very important.
And can make a huge difference on doubling your PRV. Huge, 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 huge. So I'm glad we're talking about that next week.
Yes. What you think about, you bring about. So, ladies, I think that might be, and gentlemen, is that where we want to end it? Heather, you want to end it with your favorite quote?
Sorry, I'm making samples. Guys, I know I walk right in from delivering and into samples. All right, you guys have a great night. And just remember, nothing if nothing changes.
Whoop, whoop. Have a great October.
Guys.